Hello and welcome to the Walking Talking Topic on Graphs, question number 7 with me, Mr. Barton. Now these are some of my favourites, I love these inequality questions. So here we go. A cutting machine has two settings, X and Y. For safety in operating, the settings X and Y must be selected so that all the inequalities are satisfied. Use the graph paper below to identify the region that shows the safe settings of X and Y. Okay, so if you ever get inequalities like this, the safest thing to do is draw the lines on first. So let's look at this. X plus Y is less than 8. Forget about that inequality. Worry about this. X plus Y equals 8. Can you draw that line? Well, let's get ourselves a table of values or a table of coordinates. And just make up ones. If you look here, your axis goes from 0 to 10, so that looks like decent numbers to use. So let's try, like, for example, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. That should give us a good selection of y values from those x values. So if x is 0, 0 plus something equals 8. Well, I think 0 plus 8 equals 8. If x is 2, x plus y equals 8. Well, 2 plus 6 equals 8. If x is 4, 4 plus 4 equals 8. 6 plus 2 equals 8. And 8 plus 0 equals 8. Okay, let's get those drawn on. So when x is 0, y is 8. When x is 2, y is 6. When x is 4, y is 4. When x is 6, y is 2. And when x is 8, y is 0. Draw those on there. Now technically, and it depends if you want to be a bit of a professional about this, if it's strictly less than, you want to be joining this up with a dashed line because it can't actually be equal to 8. I'll be honest with you, it's not going to matter too much, but if you can remember, if it's less than or greater than, you want a dashed line. If it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you can do a shaded line. But as I say, don't worry yourself about that. What about this one here? 5x plus y is greater than 10. Forget the greater than 10. Let's get 5x plus y equals 10. Let's get that one drawn. And again, let's get ourselves a nice table of coordinates. We might as well again pick ourselves some nice ones here. So let's go for 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's see how far that gets us. It worked well last time. If x is 0, 5 lots of 0 are 0, plus y equals 10. So 0 plus something equals 10. I think y's got to be 10 there. When x equals 2, what have we got here? We've got 5 lots of 2. That's 10. Plus y equals 10. Well, 10 plus nothing equals 10, so that's 0 there. What about when x is 4? 5 lots of 4 are 20. 20 plus whatever y is going to be equal to 10. Well, 20 plus, I think, minus 10 is equal to 10. So y is going to be minus 10. Now that's given us a bit of problem here because we don't actually have any y's equal to minus 10 in there. So what I might do is I might chuck in, instead of doing 6 and 8, I might chuck a 1 in there. So what about when x is equal to 1? Just so I can get something to plot. So I have 5 lots of 1 is 5 plus y equals 10. Or 5 plus 5 equals 10. Okay, so I've got when x is 0, y is 10. Let's mark that on. When x is 2, y is 0. And when x is 1, y is 5. Oh, sorry, when x is 1, y is 5. So I get a flipping funny looking thing going on down there. That's a weird one. So just draw myself again, dash that on. Now notice I'm not doing any shading yet. I like to leave that to the end. But one thing I've forgotten to do that I'm just going to do now is I'm just going to label these lines just so I know which ones are which. So that was x plus y equals 8, and this one here was 5x plus y equals 10. As I say, we'll worry about the inequalities in a second. Okay, last line. What about this one? 2y minus x is greater than 4. Forget the greater than. I'm going to plot equals to 4. Right, let's get our x and y's again. And let's start this time with 0. So when x is 0, 2y minus 0 equals 4. 2y minus 0 equals 4. Well, I think the only thing that's going to work there is y is equal to 2. 2 lots of 2 are 4. What about when x is, let's go for when x is 1. So when x is 1, we get 2y minus 1 equals 4. 2y minus 1 equals 4. If I just rearrange that, I get 2y is equal to, add 1 to both sides, 5. Divide by 2, y is going to be equal to 2.5. Let's try when x is 2, and we might be able to spot a pattern. When x is 2, we get 2 lots of y minus 2 equals 4. Add 2 to both sides, we're going to get 6. 2 lots of y equals 6. So y must be equal to half of 6, which is 3. I think we can spot a pattern that's going on there. So let's get these plotted. When x is 0, y is 2. When x is 1, y is 2.5, so it's going to be there. And when x is 2, y is going to be equal to 3. And that would carry on. So if I just get an extra point in there, when x is 4, I would get 2y minus 4 equals 4. Add 4 to both sides is 8. I get 2y equals 8, so y is going to be equal to 4. And it just gives me an extra point just for accuracy, and that's already plotted for me there. So let's draw these on as neat as we can with the ruler. And you can plot more points if you want to feel a bit more comfortable. It's completely up to you. As a minimum 3 points, but I like to go for 4 just to be on the safe side. And that's going to be 2y minus x equals 4. Okay, now comes to the region. Now, what I'll say is don't stress too much about the region. You're only going to get 1 mark for the actual shading of the region bit. But it's a mark that's worth getting. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. I either like to use the arrow technique, but then always test with a coordinate. So let's go for the arrow technique. I'll show you what I mean by this. Let's take this one. X plus y is less than 8. So I want the points that are less than or below my x plus y line. So I draw myself a little arrow there. I want the points that are below that one. What about this? 5 plus y is greater than 10. So there's my line. I want the points that are above that line. So I want to go this side of that line. And then 2x minus y, which was here, is greater than 4. So I want the points that are above that line. So I want to go below that line, above that line, and to the right of that line, which I reckon is this triangle here. It's above, to the right, below. So this triangle here. But there's a way to test that. Let's pick a nice point in the center there, something like that. So that's going to be my testing point. And that point there, so let's put down here test, and that's x is equal to 2, y is equal to 5. And just test at that point, it makes all these regions true. X plus y, is that less than 8? 2 plus 5 is less than 8. Perfect. Is 5x plus y greater than 10? Well, 5x would be 10, plus y 15. Perfect, greater than 10. 2y minus x, is that greater than 4? 2y, 2 lots of 5 are 10. Take off 2 is 8. That is greater than 4. So that region works. So my region I need is this region in the center. And the bonus there is I've also answered this bit. Write down a set of possible safe settings when x is 2, y is 5. Done and dusted. But the key to that is always draw your points on, your lines on, using tables of values, and then worry about the shading at the end.